This is Producing Music Podcast, episode 12. I am Cooper Anderson, and this is the one,
Mark
the only.
Mark Dollar.
This is Producing Music Podcast with Mark Dollar and Cooper Anderson.
All right, so we have we have two exciting news stories this week. We're going to start right off with those, so let's check these out. The number one story was, you knew this was going to happen, TikTok rival Instagram Reels to launch globally in a matter of weeks. Now, this is something they're already developing over at Instagram. And it's not really, everybody knows TikTok isn't the newest paradigm. It's like, it's kind of the next generation of Vine. So, as we mentioned last week, the ongoing controversy is the whole fact that China owns, TikTok is a Chinese company. It's owned by a Chinese conglomerate, and then the Chinese government has, much more control over your data that you're giving to TikTok for free if you're a user. So that's why, personally, I like to keep it American. Stay with Facebook. Lesser of two evils, Mark Zuckerberg. But, so we knew this was going to happen. Let's see how it does. Let's see if people can kick the TikTok habit. And then I've been seeing, all kinds of TikTok ads, on the App Store and everything. So I feel like they're trying to, do their last gasp for air with this whole... anti-TikTok sentiment coming from the Americans and the Indians.
Well, I will say this, I think TikTok is a platform that, can be, replaced in the long-term sensibility. I think that a lot of users do get tired, or a lot of social media users in general get tired of using so many different platforms. Like, I'll only pretty much use Facebook. I don't use Instagram. I don't use Twitter, just because it's just too much for me. Then I'm spending more time on my phone and doing less of the stuff that I love to do. So, aside from U.S. sanctions and China sanctions and things and the relations between the two countries, I'm just happy to see something, have a change in terms of the usability of any one of these apps. Which also brings the question is how much do we have to split all of this up? That app companies, that's kind of their thing. They don't put all of their one kind of big product in one product overall. They'll split it up between 2 or 3 different apps. Like WeTransfer has at least 5 or 10 different apps that kind of all correlate to doing the same thing, but are a little different.
It's like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. It's all the same parent company.
Yeah.
They divide their user base up, and then, I don't know, that's just like consolidation, I feel like. But yeah, I think starting off, pick 1 or 2 of them and just focus on those. It really depends about the content that you're creating and where that does the best.
Yeah, of course. But my whole thing is, when are we going to learn to stop adapting to the social media brand as opposed to just creating the best content that can be applicable to all platforms? Because we see this ourselves. There are a ton of artists that go viral on TikTok, but when they start to play the music game, it doesn't look so great. So it's like they've kind of tailored themselves to being a part of one market, but in the overall sense of markets in general, those artists don't seem to fare out that well and have longevity.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the culture, of each individual platform. You're going to have different types of people that like different types of content, and they all have their kind of unique flavor. So people kind of go, That's like the consumer choice basically, and that goes back into the whole thing. Like, there's just so much quantity these days that like people can really find exactly what they want and then kind of tune out everything else because there's no way you can consume all this content.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no possible way. Like you would be on your phone for, you know, I mean, anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a day. I mean, I have to scale myself down because I, within a 24-hour day, will use my phone for about 4 to 5 hours. But I know there are people that are probably upwards of 10, 15, 20 hours a day
Hmm.
doing stuff on their phone. So yeah, I don't know how they keep up with it. If you want to send me a video and tell me how you do it, please. I would love to see it.
Yeah, for
More
sure.
music news, buddy.
Yeah, so the other headline, this is the one you found, so why don't you take this?
Yeah, you got me. The tricky thing is,
The stat
you
of the
have.
week. Stat of the week, 61% of Universal Music Group's revenue comes from local artists.
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, because I can't. I can't actually see it.
Uh,
I
really?
only see the top. Yeah, I just see the very
Just
top
double
of it.
click on it and make it smaller.
There we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not so nice on Zoom.
Yeah, it's all good.
But let me go back to my article and the notes. So yes, by the way, Stat of the Week is a brand new thing that is sponsored by Sync Music Group, which is another kind of data registry music company. Starting to do a little research on them, but for the most part, they kind of have their hand in the parent companies and their meter data and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah, Stat of the Week is something that's brand new to the idea of music business worldwide, which their first kind of running stat is 61% of Universal Music Group's revenue coming from local artists, meaning the artists that are in one certain region only marketing inside of that region. That's 61%. That's kind of been like a 3% increase um, over the last 3 to 4 years. But for the most part, um, what's your commentary on this, Cooper? I got some things to say about it. I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah, so I mean, they don't really like break this down in the article, like where this revenue is coming from. And what I think, is happening, like you see here, this is according to the annual report for 2019. So this is from local artists being selling slash being streamed in that territory. So that means like live performance as well. I believe. I mean, it doesn't really say live performance, but these labels are signing like the 360 deals that like take a chunk of everything basically. So, and they give these
Yeah.
artists tour support. And this is from last year. So, that's what I'm wondering is like how that's actually doing this year in the COVID era.
Yeah.
And because new music streaming is down overall compared to even earlier this year, it's down, and catalog streaming is up. So
I would like to see where it's at now. Now that we're into the summertime, I would like to see what those stats are. Um, I think now that summer is pretty much officially here. It's been here for a while, but now that summer is here, I would like to see if there are any changes in terms of those particular stats about new music. Maybe we could get an update on that for the next week. But with that being said, I also think that there was no real way to expect COVID happening. That's one thing that's kind of like really kind of tricky to understand. I mean, the where you'll really see the number happening is how long this kind of world watch of disease and stuff like that, like COVID-19, is going to go about and like run rampant for however amount of time it does. If it goes for 2 years, then hell yeah, we're not going to be able to keep a comparison in terms of these numbers from Sync Music Group and Music and Business Worldwide and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see where music really stands, inside of the initial impact of the COVID era.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's all the music business news. Always trying to keep you guys get updated on what's going on. So keep an eye on TikTok, Instagram Reels thing. That could be a new platform for artists to really also just kind of express themselves more. But we should also talk about something is that Facebook has been doing some interesting things along on the side. Like, for instance, now Facebook is going to be starting new music videos, music video premieres and stuff like that. That's going to be happening on Facebook. And now they're trying to stem like a little bit of a music video war between YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, and
So
also Microsoft's Mixer closed down, which is a Twitch competitor. And, since the live streaming platforms really took off this year, so what happened with Mixer was they forwarded everybody to Facebook. So, like, that doesn't mean everybody just automatically went to Facebook because for legal reasons they couldn't just, like, dump them onto that platform because it's different terms of service. But so that's kind of what's happening too. That Facebook's trying to like absorb the Twitch alternative like user base as well.
yeah. Well, Facebook is doing some different things when your terms and conditions change around. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what happens in the next year in terms of streamability for artists on Facebook, because Facebook has always been this kind of what I like to call the residential platform. It's like, just kind of
Yeah.
keeping up with all the people that you usually don't want to keep up with and listening to funny and watching funny memes happen, funny videos and stuff. Word. Okay, you ready for some new Music Friday?
For sure. Why don't you talk about it first? Take it away.
All right, I'm gonna go for my new wrap up, my new Music
I'm gonna
Friday
jump in
wrap.
because we have a couple overlaps.
Okay, cool. Drake, DJ Khaled, that shit was whack.
Yep.
Sorry. Trash, complete trash.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That's no choosy slide right there.
Yeah, no, it's trash. Sorry.
You only get one of those a year, Drake.
I didn't get the guest feature. I know it was DJ Khaled and Drake, but I didn't get the sample. I just felt like it was oddly arranged. I know they're trying to do a party thing, but I also thought the vocals sounded kind of weird as well. I just thought they sounded a little weird. But Jerk Oliver Tree, great song. Thought that was really well produced. Pink Sweat's been coming up on the podcast a lot. I think I dig that new song. Kygo, Tina Turner. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I love the idea of the remake, but why is this on a New Music Friday playlist? That's one of my biggest things. And the other thing I have to say is, this almost made it to who the fuck recorded this week, but it didn't because it's Tina Turner. You can't disrespect the legend. But with that being said, what's up with the weird ass high note in the chorus? Who the fuck made that decision to say, yeah, that sounds cool? I'm sorry. That shit, Kygo, I know you made some cool shit before, but dude, nah. Now, here's my deal with this. It's like, I just don't think this song should be on the New Music Friday playlist. This is an opportunity for brand new artists to kind of make an impact on their, their artistry. And I feel like a song like this just takes up space. It's like,
no, it's
cool
not
idea.
though. It's like people, there's hush money going into this playlist. Like you're pay to play on this thing.
Of course, I understand that, but at
And
the same,
this record's a moneymaker for the labels. That's what I'm saying. It's like a proven hit
how much? I mean, look, we've heard this
and
shit.
more than zero.
Yeah, like of course more than zero, but how? Like really, how much? Let's talk about how much when we look at like the new Drake song, which I don't like, but millions of other people would like. I would like to see how that song compares to the Tina Turner song.
All right. Well,
Then we'll really,
next week we'll follow up on the streams. We'll see
yeah,
how it's comparing. But yeah, I
okay,
mean the
cool.
Tina Turner thing, like, it's been done before. Like people have sampled this. Like there was that Fat Joe record. What's love got
Yeah,
to do? And I'm
yeah.
sure I don't know.
I love
I
the
wasn't
song.
sure if it was like the original vocal or a brand new vocal. I wasn't. I'm guessing it was the original, and they just like, oh yeah.
Produced it. Maybe they have all the stems for the
They're
production,
like,
which is
hey Kygo, we need some money. Why don't you pick a song in our catalog you want to remix? Oh yeah, how about what's love got to do with it? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Here's the stems.
this is not new music to me.
Yeah.
It's just not new music. I understand the pros of it for me, turning on the younger generation to Tina Turner.
Hmm.
However, it's a dance record, and it's been done so many times with so many different records. It's not even funny. So I don't get why that appeared to be so special. Definitely, if they didn't use a new vocal, you could tell there's something new about it. Obviously, they just reproduced the stems to something of that, you know, you know, degree. But I don't know. It just didn't really work. It did like I loved it because I love Tina Turner, but I just don't think it should have been. That's my opinion. I just don't think it should have been there.
Hmm.
Moving forward, Ellie Golden, whack. That shit was whack, and it almost made it to my worst mix on the playlist. But I spared you because there's a few others. Kyle, Tyga, Johnny Yukon, Money Now. That shit was hard. It was great. I'm loving that. Friend by Gracie Adams. I thought that was too ambitious for the song. Listen to it when you guys get a chance. I just personally thought the production did not fit the song. She was going for like this really kind of bedroom pop thing, but it came out to having so many different arrangements, all these different sounds. It's like if you understand anything about bedroom pop, it's like the resource of having almost nothing to put out a record. You guys kind of just went over that. I just thought you overshot your boundary there. So what? JDXN hot. It's fucking dope. That
Yeah,
is
I
the
noticed
trap
this one. This is
wave.
exactly what the JXDN. That was exactly what you were talking about last week with like the punk records with trap beats, basically.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Trap's new wave. We got to get
I
on
think
it.
it's the other way around though. I think it's punk's new wave. I think it's just like the punk bands are doing trap beats. Because you look at
Well, yeah,
because like Marshmello kind of opened the door for that with his record with I think they were called A Day to Remember, that like Florida hardcore band that basically hadn't
yeah,
had
yeah.
a
They didn't
hit
remember.
until they hadn't even done anything in like 4 years, and then all of a sudden they get like a number one single with Marshmello, just
Well,
kind of out
don't
of
forget.
nowhere.
Let's
That
talk
record's
about.
dope. I love the record.
Yeah, A Day to Remember is a freaking dope band, and they do have some great records that stand the test of time for sure. Yeah, I mean, I also know that in the hip hop scene, the kids have always been digging on this, and trying to find a way to kind of bring the sounds back and forth.
Hmm.
Um, and I personally think that we're starting to see that more now. And I love the sound to the point where I'm thinking about coming up with more of that sound myself. Um, who the fuck recorded this? Leroy, tell me why the song. Your vocal edits have to be transparent. It has to be transparent. The record feels so copy pasted, and when you're dealing with a like an emotional vocal, like something that's really dialed in, where the singer is really doing their thing, you cannot edit that nearly as much if you want the same kind of connotation of emotion. I thought that the Rod Wave record came with way more energy just because it was not edited to shit. I'd rather listen to the Rod Wave record than the Leroy record 100%. Um, Connor Matthews, this is another who the fuck recorded this. What the fuck is up with the 808s in the chorus? Like, first of all, you're doing a pop record. Let's talk about this. This is not a hip hop record where if you're gargling the line between melody and rapping and rhythmic scheme, that you can use kind of some out of tune instruments. That was a straight pop record, which kind of goes back to like the what's that girl's name? Friend by Gracie Adams. You know, it's like your song, while it's a cool idea, it just doesn't fit because you're using an out of tune 808 in the chorus. It's so out of tune, super distracting. I would not have made that decision. That would not have gone that far past me. I don't care how high and how drunk you felt in the studio when you did it. I just don't think it was a good decision. Worst mix on the playlist for me this week was I didn't even put the girl's name. That's Megan Trainor. There we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna Megan Trainor. The reason why is because overloads sound way cooler in hip hop than they do in pop. If you listen to that song, by the time the song gets to the pre-chorus, you hear overloads, you hear distortion, clear, audible distortion that's happening from a brick wall compression and stuff like that. You have to be careful with your volumes.
Yeah, I mean that's I love that song though. But yeah, the mix is kind of weird. I mean that's like the EDM thing though, is they like just limit everything crazy loud and you know. But yeah, it doesn't really sound that good. I don't know why everybody does it. I guess it sounds good in the club when you're like, you know, trying to make the
but I can
speakers
almost
move.
hear
But
that
yeah,
mix kind of like distorting the club speakers overall. I don't know.
everybody's
Just,
ears are shot at those high volumes anyway.
yeah, exactly. All right. Now this might be an interesting, controversial topic to talk about on New Music Friday. Um,
Let's
I
try to
had
keep
to
it
drink.
kind of clean,
I'm gonna keep it pretty clean. Pretty
'Cause
clean.
because I think that's the point. Well, I'm alluding to what you're about to say. So
Yeah. I had to drink a little whiskey for this. You know, get old black man on at 1:29 on a Friday.
that's Eastern
Um,
Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time, mind you. Michelangelo in the corner here.
Yeah, he's keeping an
Um,
eye on Luigi's keeping an eye on you.
while he's eating a slice of pizza, you know. But we got something to talk about. I mean, going through this New Music Friday playlist, I I don't get me wrong, I love these younger artists and stuff like that in terms of what they're trying to talk about, how they're phrasing things, different that. I'm learning from them just as much as they might learn from me,
Hmm.
my generation. But with that being said, I don't know if I can ever, I mean, I just my whole thing with we're talking about penis lines, like it was one line that was just straight like sucking on the dick, like straight up, like just straight sucking on the dick,
Yeah,
guys. Like
it's like every other song too.
every other trap song is like, bitch, suck on my dick, sucking
Right.
on the dick. She was sucking on my dick last night. This, that, and the other. It's like, oh my God. Like, I'm sitting here like, and I make crazy jokes sometimes. And I'm sitting here listening to this shit like, you got to be kidding me. Like, first of all, if it's happening in every other fucking line, Every other song, every other fucking song. You guys are whack and old and outdated with this shit. It's not hot to sit there and talk about a chick sucking on your dick. It's not I don't. I hate to say I don't even want to get my shit sucked anymore because I hear about it so much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like, chick come over and be like, hey man, like, don't do that. Let's read the Bible tonight, baby. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Bored of all that.
Bored. Like, it's boring. The fact of the matter is, like, it's boring. No one's getting anything out of the fact that you think that getting your dick sucked and writing about it is cool. Like, there's nothing cool about that.
Yeah, who thinks that's cool? I mean, do the girls think it's really cool? Probably
Apparently
not.
No, it's like, I don't know. Like,
it's probably just the other dudes who think it's cool to talk about it.
It gets to me because, we're trying to grow as as a society. But we're holding on to some of these ideologies about music and about lyrics like this shit fucking matters. These aren't the biggest songs in the world. And we shouldn't be looking at them like they're the biggest songs. Like, come on. I don't want to die in 50 years from now, God willing, and look back at my heyday and think that the most popular music coming from black men was them talking about getting their dick sucked.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not letting that happen. If you do that shit, first of all, I don't work with artists that do that because there's so much more cooler shit to talk about than just getting your shit sucked.
I wonder how much of that is like the TikTok culture creeping over though, because that's a lot of what I see on TikTok is dumb stuff like that.
I mean, I just think the younger generation just looks at it a lot differently. It's like they rather not work on their rhyme skills. They rather just have those hot words and those hot phrases. Like, apparently, sucking on the dick is a hot phrase.
Apparently.
It just kind of makes me upset. I'll be honest. It makes me upset because at the end of the day, it's like, how are we trying to elevate ourselves as a culture if all of our young kids are hearing this stuff and having an impact on it? Like,
yeah, it's like legitimizing sexual assault every week. Like,
yeah, legitimizing it. Like, nah, I can't fuck with that. It's not my way. It's pretty dumb. If you guys want to keep this conversation going, you guys let me know.
I think we're gonna put that one on the follow-up list for next week. We're gonna see how well that performs.
Yeah, I would like to see how well that shit performs because if it's really that hot, we gotta have the real conversation.
Yeah, here. And then we'll cross-check that with the U.S. top 50 and see if it's on the U.S. top 50 as well.
Jesus,
because that's like people actually listening to it, as opposed to New Music Friday, which is like bought and paid for your slot, basically.
Yeah. All right,
moving on. I'm going to mention a few more. I actually really liked the playlist this week. There's a lot of songs that I added to my personal playlist, and that's kind of how I look at this playlist is like, what do I like? I use it as discovery. So the first one I liked was the second song on the list, or maybe it was the third. It was the Zed song. I mean, it's just a classic Zed record. It's nice to hear, he's still doing his thing. The To Be Young featuring Doja Cat by Anne Marie. I really loved the production on that and the chord progression. I thought it was really cool. Loved that record. The next one that we haven't talked about, Cry Dancing, NOTD, Nina Nesbitt, 12 Steps by Chloe with an X. I don't know. I think her stuff's kind of interesting. Imagine by Steve Aoki, Frank Walker, and AJ Mitchell. I thought it was really cool to see AJ Mitchell on a record with Steve Aoki because I've been following him since he worked with our friend Stavros. Shout out to Stavros. So he's got a killing career. You know, he's been on Music Friday a lot. He's doing a lot of cool records. Note to Self by Jimmy Stack, Empress of was good. Drown by Lecrae and John Legend. Typically, I don't know. I mean, John Legend's got a killing voice, but I don't always love his songs. But occasionally, he'll just have these gems, and I feel like this was one of them. I think it's the production. You know, I'm just kind of into that style. It was like the mid-tempo EDM, like an EDM trap kind of thing. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I Still Do, Kiara. She's from that same kind of, EDM world. Thinking About You with Winona Oak by Rehab. Wait For Me featuring Goody Grace and Tory Lanez. This is probably one of the explicit ones that we were talking about before. We'll do a little more research and figure out a few more to follow up on. But I do like Tory Lanez. I think he's doing some good stuff. The Kingdom by Bush. So we saw a new Pearl Jam record, several new Pearl Jam records a few months ago. Now we're seeing Bush. So is this like the 25th anniversary of mid-90s grunge, resurgence?
I'm cool with it. I love it.
Yeah.
Bring it
on. So that's pretty much it for New Music Friday stuff. So that's it for the regular portion of the Producing Music Podcast, episode 12. Thank you for listening. And for those of us who are watching us on Facebook or YouTube or SoundCloud, we're going to keep going with the bonus content. So enjoy that, and we will catch you all next week.